Hello, hello, everybody. Today we are going to be completing the Thinking About Myself section. So there are three tabs that I would like you to get opened up right now. Number one, your Google Sites. We are going to be completing this part. Number two, there is a Google Doc posted in Schoology. So if you could open up the Google Doc worksheet, you're going to be filling that out as well. And then, of course, MCIS. So you can go ahead and open up MCIS. The first thing you'll be doing for this lesson is completing the Google Doc. All right, this Google Doc, it's fairly long, but the questions and statements that you're answering are not too complicated, so that's a good sign. So, this worksheet will help you name the things that you are good at, the things you enjoy, and the things that make you special. These characteristics are called strengths, talents, and interests. You can use these characteristics in school and in the world of work. So the instructions for this Google Doc are as follows. Number one, complete this worksheet as fully as you can. And number two, be honest in your answers. Your answers will help you learn about yourself so that you can make good choices and decisions for your future. Now, when I say I want you to be as honest as you can with me. Okay. I know that there are some things that you don't share with your teachers, and that is fine. But these questions, they're pretty straightforward. Just talking about you and thinking in terms of what's going to be a good career fit for you in the future. Okay. Second, I want you to really focus and take your time with answering these questions. This is not the moment to rush through this work. Okay. We're not rushing through this work so that we can get done and be the first one done with this assignment. I want you to take your time. If you get done with this too early, I'm going to have you go back and relook at your worksheet and recheck your answers. So please take your time and really think about these answers thoroughly. Okay. So there are several sections. First is related information. So go ahead and answer these statements. Next is schoolwork, talking about which classes you enjoy and how you learn best. Next is hobbies and leisure interests. So when you're not at school, what are you doing with your time? How do you like to spend your time? If it's, being on my phone, I like to be on my phone. Well, what do you do on your phone? Right? That kind of thing. And then your work experience. Work experience might be the toughest section, just because a lot of you might not have had uh, a job yet. But you can pause this video and look at the examples that I put. When I was your age, I was babysitting. I'd been babysitting for 4 years by the time I was in 8th grade. I did some volunteer work. So I volunteered with my church's youth group, and I consider that work, right? It was unpaid work. And I also used to help my grandparents out at their property. They had an acreage out in the farm with a huge yard, and they needed help picking up sticks and stuff. And so I would help my grandparents, and that was mostly unpaid. Sometimes my grandma would slip me some money under the table because she felt guilty for all the work I would do for her. But so think about work experience. And if you haven't had an actual job with a paycheck yet, get creative about the type of work you have done for people or organizations. Okay. And then this last section here before we get into our summary is your special qualities. And this one, I really want you to think, take some extra time to think about it because it can be tricky to answer. It's hard to evaluate yourself. It's hard to compliment yourself. And the first section is name 5 things that you really like about yourself. And so when I was filling this out, I took a beat and I thought, what is it that I like about myself? That I'm really proud of myself for. And so take some time to really, truly think about your answer there. And then you can answer the rest of the questions as well, or the statements. And then the summary. So for the summary section, review what you wrote above, sum up what you most like to do and what you do best. You can then use the information from the shaded box to fill in the Getting Started Know Myself section of the career plan and or in the What Do You Know About Yourself item. Okay. And then after that, we're going to look through some occupations. So summarize down here. It's the last section of the worksheet. And once you go ahead and pause the video, and once you get that done, come back because we're going to be working in MCIS. Okay, step 2 is the career plan in MCIS. Okay, so get logged in, and just like in the previous lesson, you're going to hover over the Plan tab, go to Career Plan, then the Getting Started tab, and then the Know Myself section. Okay, Know Myself section. Okay, so down here is the what do you know about yourself, your characteristics, interests, and preferences. Um, I have put in some information already, but I'll just hit enter to review it. I want you to click on insert today's date. Okay, guess it's going to go above here, put a dash, and then you're going to write 3 sentences about yourself. Okay, so they give you some example here. I'm an energetic people person. I love animals, and I care about doing well in school. Okay, so you just got done completing this worksheet here. You gave a quick summary, like, here are the things I most like to do. Here are the things I'm pretty good at. And then you brainstormed some jobs. Okay, and again, with this section here, it's typed out in the statement, but there are no wrong answers for which jobs you think you're going to be good at. Okay, there really aren't. Just think like what using the skills and the interests that you have now before we take any other further assessments, what jobs do you think would match up with you? And you were to choose 3. So make sure you have 3 career options here too. I guess I should have mentioned that earlier in the video, but you can always pause and put 3 down right now. It's not the end of the world. But here now you're going to come back and think about how you summarized it on the worksheet and type 3 sentences. So what I put here is I'm a people pleaser, which is really true. I really hope that people are pleased with me. I try to make people as happy as possible. So I'm a people pleaser who loves to take care of those around me. I like to work with my hands, especially while outdoors, and I care a lot about the grades I get in school. Okay, so go ahead, insert today's date, put a dash, and write 3 sentences about yourself. When you are done, you're going to click Save Information. Next, we'll be exploring some occupations. Okay, so back to MCIS. There is this little section right here. It says CIS components. And there's this little button right here that says occupations. If you can't see that on your screen, you can also just go up here to occupations and then click occupations here. So there's some different ways to get to it, but I think this would be easiest. So hopefully everyone has this on their screen. So let's just click occupations. And now what it's going to take you to is a whole list of occupations. And this list is super long, and that's just the A's. Okay, there's a whole directory up here. Every single letter has some occupations with it. And on your worksheet, you put down at least 3 jobs that you think you would be good at, or at least would deal with your characteristics. And so in MCIS, we're going to take a look at those 3 jobs. So my first job I put down was teacher. So I'm going to click the D, and I'm going to find teacher. And so teachers, there are so many different types of them. There's elementary, high school, middle school, PE, preschool, special ed, a college teacher, or professor, as they're known as. And so I can't just click on like teacher because I need to be more specific. And so it's going to break it down over here in these parentheses. I'm going to go to high school teacher, or I'll go middle school teacher because this is a middle school class. And I'll look at this. And this is really the exciting part of the class because that's what it's about. It's careers class, and now you're finally going to look at some careers here. And so I just want you to like take a quick glance. We're not going to take down too much of this information, but I do want you to look at the at a glance section. You get to see how much your occupation makes, how much you can earn on that job, whether it's a large occupation or if it's small, if it's growing, and how many openings there are every year. This will tell you what you need to do in order to be a teacher or whatever job you're doing. So I'll just use teacher as my example. So a middle school teacher typically needs to have a high school diploma, have a bachelor's degree, which is 4 years of college, complete a teacher training program, which is like student teaching. And then, I guess your student teaching, you need to do, an approved teacher training program would be majoring in teaching at college, and then student teaching. And then, of course, you have to pass a licensing exam by taking a test. There's also some working conditions. So, I mean, you all know what the working conditions are for a teacher, right? Because you're in school every day. But your job might say something different, like be exposed to extreme heat outdoors, or maybe yours is the opposite and you're sitting in an office all day long. So, your working conditions will be very specific to your job. And then another really cool thing about it is you can watch a video. So hopefully your occupations that you're looking at have a video. Most of them do, but not all of them. So if you click on the video here, it would open up in another window. And I will not play it. You can always come to the middle school teacher page and watch it if you want to. But look at that career. And then what I want you to do, because you put it on your worksheet, you thought it would be of interest to you, I want you to click the star save button. And when you do that, this is going to pop up and it's going to say, hey, enter any thoughts you want to save about this occupation. And what you're going to say here is why you're saving this occupation. So I'm saving this occupation because I like to help people and work with kids. And so then save that information. And then boom, it's right here in your saved occupations with any thoughts that you have. Okay, so then you can go back to the occupations tab. So I guess now you can either hit the back button or you can go hover over occupations and choose occupations here like I showed before. And then find your other two occupations and save them with a little blurb about why you're saving them. Pause this video and get that done. All right, the last thing you need to do now is work in your Google Sites. Okay, as you open up your Google Sites, it's going to open up automatically to your homepage. So to get where we need to be, you're going to hover over Know Myself and then go into Thinking About Myself, because that's a worksheet you just filled out. And this is the section we are going to complete. So to get us started right away, you're going to enter or insert a text box in the insert pane or insert panel here, text box. Just to keep everything consistent and flowing really nicely, I want you to change it to a title and type the word summary. Okay, so we're just going to summarize what we have done today. Insert another text box, and I want you to now change the text to a heading. Okay, a heading. And we're going to put 3 little sections here. And so the first one, and you can go back and forth to your worksheet, but you're going to put in what you most like to do. You know, what did you find out about yourself when you were thinking about who you are? What makes you tick? This is the first section you're going to add. So I most like to. So with the heading selected, you're going to type I most like to, put a colon, and then just hit enter. Now, when you do that, your text is going to change to a normal text automatically. So that's perfect. We'll go back to our worksheet, and all you're going to do here is select, copy, and then paste. Okay. Now, because I like the way it looks, I would like you to then select what you just copied and pasted here and turn it into a bulleted list. If you have everything typed out on one long big line, I want you to create a bulleted list like you see here. So make sure it looks like it's a nice, clean, neat order. Okay. Hit enter a couple times so that you have some space here. Go back up to your text style and change it to a heading again. So we're just going to keep everything in this one text box. So change it back to heading and go to your worksheet. And now you're going to put this in. I am particularly good at. I was going to spell that wrong, and I'm too tired to try and figure out where my mistake is. So I am particularly good at, with a colon, hit enter. Again, your text should change. And if I'm going too fast, you can always pause, wait a beat, rewind if you have to, because I'm just talking so quickly. So again, what I'm particularly good at is helping people. You could also take your sentences from MCIS in your career plan that you just typed up. That actually would be a good option, a good thing to do because it's more detailed. Okay, so we want to include as much information as possible on our portfolios because this is going to be with you for the rest of your time at Fairmont. You can always go back and look at this. So I'm going to select that, make it a bulleted list so that everything stays consistent and looks good. Change it to a heading. And again, I'm going pretty quick because I don't want this video to be super long like the last one. And then some jobs that use my characteristics and interest. Six and interest. I think the word that is capitalized in a title. But use seems important too. You want to highlight all the or capitalize all the important words. Hit enter and go to your worksheet and take this information. I have like a frog in my throat right now. I sound really raspy. Make it a bulleted list. Okay, so that looks really clean and sharp and nice. It's easy to read. It's organized well. Last thing you're going to do is go to the insert panel, click drive, and find your thinking about myself doc. I have to type practice. I guess here, you shouldn't type practice. You should probably type thinking about myself so that it pops up because you'll see it right here. Okay, and use the resizing tool to make your sheet at least a full page long. And I like that when it's a full page long because when I am grading, I don't have this tiny little window that I'm trying to grade everything in. So this is the end of my first page. So then I can see like a lot of information all at once while I'm grading, and it looks good. Make sure that in your Google Doc, I alluded to this last time, but this is the thinking about myself Google Doc. I go to the share button, and if yours says Fairmont area schools, anyone from Fairmont can see it. I want you to switch it to anyone with the link. So make sure this says anyone with the link can view it. Done. That way the rights on your Google Doc here or on your Google Sites are public. Okay, and then that's it. You're done. So good job. You do not need to resend me the link. I repeat, you do not need to resend me the link. I have your link. Just make sure that you hit publish here. It's the last thing we always do. It'll show you your differences. So if you hit publish, this will all be popped up and I'll be able to read it. It's a good job.